SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Running a business is tough. If you're struggling with HR, benefits, and payroll, you're not alone. Many businesses just don't have the resources to keep up. That's where MWG Employer Services comes in. We provide a full range of employer services with everything from payroll to benefits to HR services and compliance, and can create a custom plan that fits your needs and budget. We're a Mississippi-based company that can help you focus on what you do best, growing your business. Call MWG Employer Services today at 601-206-7966 or go to MWGEmployerServices.com. You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C Spire. Power your home or business with C Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C Spire. C Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Ladies and gentlemen, we made it. We made it. The offseason is over. It is officially college football game week. Now, neither Ole Miss nor Mississippi State will play this weekend, but it doesn't matter.
Details.
It's college football, real, live college football. You've got ranked teams playing this weekend. You've got a conference matchup, although I guess technically it doesn't count as a conference matchup because the ACC is ridiculous, but still, it is back. College football season is here, and we're going to be far less busy in terms of being on the road for this show, but we've got a busy week ahead and a busy day ahead. I'm Michael Borkey. He's Brian Hadad. You are locked in to Sports Talk Mississippi on this rainy, at least where I sit, Monday afternoon. A little cool down in late August that we needed desperately. It's been hot, so we're cooling down a little bit, and we've got a lot to get to. Pete Golding and Jeff Lebby have both spoken since we last spoke, so you will hear from both of them. We got winners and losers. We got two teams to get to on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. Two NFL players have committed to LSU. Two NFL players have committed to LSU. So we'll talk about that. Quarterback battles are getting finalized across the country. So we will talk about that and more with you on this busy, busy Monday and a busy week because football's back.
We absolutely are going to. What is that?
What is what?
I don't, hold on.
I'm not hearing anything on my end.
I've been bugged. Lane Kiffin, you son of a... You bugged my office. You were trying to hear what I said, huh? When I was making fun of you about your players faking injuries. Wow. Oh, you haven't heard the last of me, Lane Kiffin. Bugging my office. Where does he get the nerve? He bugged the Pearl River Resort Studios. He heard about all the great things happening at Pearl River Resort, about great golf, having fun with the family at the water park, having great meals at Philip M's, the live entertainment. He heard it all. He heard about the C Spire text line being open to you, 601-879-4395. He heard that how at C Spire right now you can get all the devices you want with one move with the Ultimate Connect bundle. He knows that new and current customers can get a free phone, watch, and tablet, plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. That includes the new iPhone 17 and the Samsung Galaxy S26 for free. And he knows all of this. And he knows that you need to visit cspire.com or your local C Spire store today. But most importantly, he knows, Lane Kiffin knows that C Spire is inspired by you. All right, you can do whatever you want for the next hour. I'm out. 3-1. I missed the goal. And I was ranting and I missed the goal. Let's go.
This is somebody on the podcast last night said that this is the worst offseason in college football history. And I gave a little I gave a correction. I said it's not the worst because we had an offseason where Penn State did what they did in the name of football.
I was gonna say that That did happen.
This is the stupidest offseason that we have had in football. There's your distinction. And it continued over the weekend, where it started with former Cleveland Brown, who played for the Browns as a contracted player for the Cleveland Browns. On Saturday, committed to LSU on Sunday, and then Xavier Harris also expected to transfer to LSU as well. As we said, when the Louisiana thing happened, there were 3 Ole Miss athletes involved. I didn't expect any of them to come back to Ole Miss. Wyatt Williams, I think, is going to make the team in Arizona, so that'll take care of itself. But the other 2, at least, are attempting to go to LSU to play football this season. Now, in this conversation, I want to get past the, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Because you all already know that. Like, this is insane. It's an absurdity that a guy can play as a contracted player for the Browns on Saturday and then commit to a college on Sunday. Like, that is utter insanity. It's absurd, but I think that, like, you guys already know that, so let's just go right into a couple of things. What this means, how the SEC can or needs to respond, and make the conversation about that. But I will start with this, and you Ole Miss fans, you're not going to like that I'm saying this on statewide radio. I respect the heck out of the public brazenness that LSU is doing this, the manner in which they are doing this. I honestly respect. Because I did not expect anybody to laugh in the face of the commissioner of the SEC the way that LSU is. They know that these players, I know they're legally trying to get around the intra-conference transfer rule by saying they're technically not transfers because they're coming from the NFL and not from Ole Miss. We'll see if that holds up in court. I don't know if it will or won't. But LSU is taunting the SEC with this. They're basically saying, come at us, Greg. We're going to do this right in front of your face. We know that you sent a memo to everybody saying that we can't do this, but we don't care. And we don't think you can enforce this. And if you try, Governor Landry's got some judge somewhere in here that will make sure that we will fight you on this. I respect it. The fact that they are so all in and so willing to laugh at Greg Sankey on their way to the courthouse, frankly, is impressive.
I think in the next week, the NCAA is just going to have to swallow its pride a little bit and just issue a blanket 2022 waiver. Just going to have to do it. You don't want to be fighting all these battles that you can't win. Just get it over with. Just be like, you know what? After much consideration, we've decided 2022 has a blanket waiver. And you have to say in the thing, it fits our new policy of 5-5.
But
so if you're 2021, you can't complain.
Here's the thing.
They'll try, but they can't.
They, at least temporarily, have one in Colorado.
They have.
And this discussion is not about NCAA versus player. It's about SEC versus player. That's what makes it a little bit more interesting, or at least I think so anyway. Because, again, I think LSU was taunting the league. They're taunting Greg Sankey. And what he has to do, at least in my opinion, for whatever it's worth, is Greg Sankey has to fight this. He has to fight it, and he has to do it publicly. And I cannot believe, as of 3:14 and 8 seconds on this Monday, the SEC has not said publicly anything about this. And here's why I say he has to fight this. Because of what he did with Charles Bediako at Alabama. Painted himself into a bit of a corner by choosing to do that. Because if I'm Greg Byrne in Alabama today, if I'm the president of Alabama, if I'm the attorney general of the state of Alabama, and I saw that the SEC fought against an Alabama player and did so successfully, mind you, and they don't do this, when the circumstances are different, but they are similar enough, a contracted NFL player who was under contract, ghosted training camp to come back to college, if you don't step in and stop that, I will. As the Attorney General of the state of Alabama. I will as the president of the University of Alabama. And I will see to it that the next time we talk about your job and your contract, that my vote is against you. He has got to do that. Has to at least try. Can he? We'll talk about that maybe after the break. If I'm Tennessee, if I'm Danny White at Tennessee, if I'm the Attorney General in the state of Tennessee, and I look at Arian Carter, Arian Carter got one flight paid for $400, and he's missing games.
And that he repaid.
And he's missing games. But LSU's going to play a guy that was a contracted player for the Browns? Not on my watch. I'm going to get a Tennessee court to prevent that as well. If you don't try, if you're Greg Sankey, you're sending a message to Tennessee and you're sending a message to Alabama that you don't want them to send. You have got to preserve your conference and your job by at least attempting to put a stop to this. I think because he chose to insert himself with Bediako, you have to here. Have to.
It's just a situation where there's no way. When the Bediako thing happened, it was so weird and so out of the world. Nobody could have ever foreseen NFL players asking to leave training camp and leaving training camp to go back to college. Nobody could have ever thought that would be a thing. You go to college to get a shot at the NFL, and now we're going to bring them back. Nobody could have predicted that, but that's where we are.
601-879-4395, the C Spire text line. Good question on the text line. We will get to that and more. I do think the NFL might be the ones to put a stop to this, and I'll explain why I think that as well when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Don't go anywhere.
Every time I look around, every time I look around, every time I look around, it's in my face.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Super Talk Mississippi.
Somebody says, totally disagree, Borkey. I tell you what will happen. The NCAA is winning this in the courts in the end, and when they do, the first thing they'll do is make any team that use these ineligible players forfeit all games. These players played, and in any championships they may win. Count on that, and you don't want Sankey and the SEC as your enemy. They will not help you. We'll just have to profoundly disagree. No, the NCAA is not winning this in the end. They are not winning this in the end. They have no choice here. And here's why, as we talk about all the time. They have no choice here because these judges that have given these players eligibility are doing so under the grounds that NCAA rules are essentially illegal. And also, these rulings say that the NCAA cannot retroactively punish players for playing while an injunction was given. It is against the law for the NCAA to do that because the law supersedes NCAA rules because the NCAA does not have the ability to restrict legal adults without their say. That's why they lose so much. So no, there will not be a retroactive punishment given to, I don't know, you're an Ole Miss fan. If you're saying that they could do that for Daquan Wright, then they could do that for Trinidad too. But they can't because the law says that they cannot. And the NCAA cannot change the law. And if they try to punish Ole Miss for playing Trinidad, they will lose in court again because it's against the law. Just point blank period, they can't do it. The only thing that can stop this, well, there's two things that can stop this. Greg Sankey and the SEC, and the only power that they possibly could have is stopping the former Ole Miss players from going to the NFL and going back to LSU because of intra-conference transfer rules. Collective bargaining could stop it. And then the NFL could stop it. And here's why I say that. Because somebody says, I don't see the NFL doing something here. Once a player's cut and clears waivers, they're free to pursue whatever they want. But here's what the NFL, I think, will consider. That league is not interested in investing money and time into players that will use them as a backup plan or a placeholder. Daquan Wright could have been a practice squad guy for Cleveland. Could have. I don't know. But he ghosted training camp, allegedly, and asked to get cut. And Cleveland spent money on him. They spent time on him. They invested resources, both financial and time, trying to get this player to be good enough to make their team. And this isn't just a one-off. This is not just 2022. You watch. Any player that leaves after 3 years or after 4 years, if they're about to get cut and they know it, are going to ask to get cut and sue to get back into college. It's going to happen every year until this gets stopped. The NFL is not interested in that. I promise you. I promise you. And I've seen some NFL reporters say that this has caused an issue within the league. They're not going to put up with that. They're not going to waste their money on players that aren't going to give them everything they have until cut day. So the NFL could possibly do a couple of things here. They could, once you get drafted, you can't re-enter the draft. Or once you get drafted, the Browns own your rights for a certain number of years, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. They're not going to let this happen to them because they are being used by these players now, and I promise you the NFL does not care enough about fringe prospects to let them be used by them, if that makes sense. They will step in and put a stop to this. I bet they will. To some degree.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about, like, in terms of, like, we always talk about how college football can become it's like a minor league for pro football, right? Nobody who's in the minors that gets called up to the majors ever wants to go back down to the minors. They do sometimes because you don't have any choice. But you're professionals the whole way there. Nobody, the NFL is not going to look at us and go, like, the whole point of college football, if you're a college football player, what do you want to do? I want to get to the NFL. And so now you're saying you've gotten to the NFL, you got a chance to make the roster, and you're going to say, nah, never mind, I want to go back to college. That's not going to go over well. And I agree. Like, the NFL is not going to allow valuable practice time. We were talking about Manning and Silla here at State, right? And like, yeah. The reps are valuable in the preseason. You want to get guys to be ready. You're not going to allow valuable reps to be taken in practice by guys who have no business being there, who don't want to be there. So I tend to agree that the NFL, I don't know what they'll do. I don't think it'll be particularly harsh. I don't know. But I could easily see that.
Yeah, there was one NFL scout that said to an NFL reporter that will not be forgotten, that player in particular chose to ghost training camp and go back to college. That even though he's probably not ever going to turn into a rostered, like, high-level player anyway. He does a lot of things good. He does nothing great. And in the NFL, you've got to have great traits, and he only has good traits. Again, he's a great college player, but when it comes to the NFL, he probably just doesn't have it. But I think the league could step in here. But what does the SEC do? That's what we keep getting asked. What does Sankey do? What does he do? He can do this. He can do that. I don't know what the SEC bylaws say, and I don't know what the SEC's lawyers will interpret their bylaws to say. I do know, if I understand it correctly, I say I know, if I understand it correctly, the SEC has a much better opportunity to win a legal battle to enforce their own conference rules than the NCAA. And here's why. And lawyers out there, if I have this interpreted incorrectly, please tell me. I would love to be better educated on this. But the NCAA loses in court so much because they essentially monopolize the sport. It is a blanket. Look, I know there's junior colleges and NAIA, but the NCAA has a monopoly on major college football. The SEC does not. The SEC would be telling Daquan Wright and Xavier Harris, you can't transfer from, or you can't play for LSU, but you can go play for Georgia Tech. You can go play for NC State. You can go to a comparable conference to ours and make money and play ball. That is an argument that is better defended in court because it's not necessarily, or at least it can be interpreted as not a violation of antitrust law because there are other equal options or comparable options for the players to go and go play. And they're both good enough to go somewhere in another conference and go play. So they can legally at least defend this in what I would assume would be an Alabama court. You file it in Birmingham and you fight like hell. So maybe that's how the SEC can fight back is, they're not violating antitrust law. You can go to Virginia right now, brother, and we won't stop you. But you can't go from one SEC school to another after the transfer window. Those are our rules. That's not the Big Ten's rules. You can go play there. We'll see. I do think that the message is being sent around the SEC that Sankey better act on this, or at least try. Because if not, if a conference can't enforce its own rules, what is the point of the conference? What do you do as commissioner? There's already some unrest about some decisions in leadership at the league anyway. If you can't stop this, if you can't defend this, if you won't fight for this, what would you say you do here, commissioner?
It's just painful. And like Marty, I get that you have all these thoughts, but you and I both know this is your only reason you're agreeing to this is because LSU is doing it. If this was happening at Alabama or Georgia, you'd be all up against it. I know you well enough to know. And that's just where fans are going to line up. I did get a kick out of somebody's like, who has to pay back the NFL? Why does everybody think that, like, when you quit a job, you have to pay back money? Nowhere in America. If I quit my job right now at SuperTalk, I don't owe them any money. Like, and especially if SuperTalk fired me, I certainly wouldn't owe them any money. And that's what happened with Daquan Wright. No, nobody has to pay the Cleveland Browns any money.
Somebody says the NIL value is not going to be as equal at those other places. They're going to lose. It's about providing a comparable opportunity.
Yeah.
And guys, by the way, the Big Ten makes more money than the SEC. I know that we live in SEC country and everything, and it just means more and all that stuff. The Big Ten makes more money than the SEC does on an annual basis. They distribute, and not just because they have 18 teams, they distribute more money to their schools than the SEC does. Just saying that's a way that they can defend themselves. Maybe there are some options on the table from a bylaw perspective. Maybe they can withhold television revenue. Maybe they can suspend a coach because coach is not a player. He's a contracted employee. I don't know. I don't know those answers. I just know that if I'm Greg Byrne, if I'm an attorney general in the state of Alabama, if I'm Danny White, the attorney general of the state of Tennessee, forget Mississippi. I'm making sure that the league office defends itself with this. We'll see. Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be back.
From the Seabrook Sports Talk Mississippi.
Boom! Are you ready for some football?
On Super Talk Mississippi.
Always a crazy one.
I know State and Ole Miss are pretty set at the running back position, but Trey Benson was just waived by the Cardinals. So
Mississippi guy.
You need a running back. Oh, man. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Trying to think what class he was in, though. He may not.
2024 was his draft year.
Yeah, he was in the class, because he's in the same class as Dylan Johnson.
But did he have any eligibility left? Because you can find it.
I don't know. I would think not.
Somebody says the SEC can lead college football to greatness or destruction. We'll see. We will see. I am still very surprised there has not been a statement by Greg Sankey. Now, these players, Xavier Harris has already cleared waivers for, again, varying reasons. But Daquan Wright, I guess, technically has not cleared waivers yet.
Be the funniest thing ever if somebody picked him up.
But they'd have to put him on their 53-man, and, of course, that's that won't happen.
Somebody might need a tight end, heck.
But you've got I'm surprised, though, that it has not happened today. I imagine it's been a very bad day to work in the SEC office.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that's been very fun because you have 15 ADs and coaches and presidents that want to yell at you, essentially. And you got to take every single one of those phone calls all day long. And now you've got to talk to your legal team, and you've got to get attorneys, and you got to figure out how you can enforce your bylaws. And he's been earning that ridiculous salary today as the commissioner of the league. We'll see. Why is it always LSU, no matter the sport, Daniel and Tupelo? Because they have a governor that is essentially banking his political career on the success of LSU sports. But it's not just them. I mean, the reason why LSU is the story, and it's incredible how disingenuous some people that cover that program are with stuff like this. Why is there other people are doing it? Why is it us that's getting picked on? It's because you are the only ones trying to violate your conference's specific rule. That's why you are different. Nobody's fussing that you got the Notre Dame edge. It's not even a thing. Now, it's still a little crazy that, pro players are coming back to college, but it's because you are telling your own conference to come at you. That's why this is a story. Yeah. That's why it's unique. But they're aligned in, truly, I admire this about them. We do not care. We don't care. Lane Kiffin, scumbag. Will Wade, scumbag. Kim Mulkey, scumbag. Verge Osbury doesn't have the best history in his time at LSU either. You think Jeff Landry, squeaky clean? Nobody cares, because if you win, nobody cares. Nobody will ever care.
We've learned that from Ole Miss this past year.
Nobody cares if you win. It is crazy that a governor is staking his political career on wins and losses in a college football game, but that is Louisiana.
It doesn't even matter if they win or lose as far as that goes, because everybody in Louisiana basically is an LSU fan. So even if it doesn't work out, those people will look at it and say, well, he was doing everything he could for LSU in that situation. Oh, by the way, I didn't mean to wear a purple shirt today. I just grabbed one out of it. We'll point that out. I have not heard from Lane Kiffin. No, he hasn't called me, other than the bug in my office.
Ross Dellinger reporting a Tuesday AD President SEC meeting meant on a different topic of self-governance, but who says this isn't the topic? I imagine that this will be the only thing that is discussed. The concept of self-governance has been a thing for a while. They've talked about a lot. So I don't think that they're trying to hide that they called a meeting. I would not be surprised if this was already on the schedule anyway, because it's something that they need to explore. But no, I can't believe they're waiting till tomorrow. Because next week is game week.
Yeah.
LSU has an SEC game in 3.5 weeks, essentially. So, no, I'm not surprised that they have that. I don't think they're trying to cover up a real conversation. I think that the concept of a meeting and the contents of it will change rather dramatically. Maybe it'll give the commissioner time to get his lawyers to try to find a loophole that they can exploit as well. Everybody else is doing it. The league might as well try. You know? I mean, can you blame them?
Yeah.
Let's see. If you go pro out of high school, do you have 4 years of college eligibility? Who's to say why not? What if Connor Griffin fails? He won't. But what if he does? Can he go to state and make $400K a year and play baseball? Who's to say he can't now? Seriously. What's the precedent stopping him from being able to do that if Daquan Wright and Xavier Harris are allowed to play? If they're not allowed to play, then you've got something to stand on. But if they're allowed to play, Connor Griffin, for whatever reason, doesn't make it in the majors, sign him up.
It's an interesting question, sure.
Let him hit home runs at Duty Noble and win a College World Series. Who's going to tell you no? How can LSU afford to pay Wright but can't afford to pay the buyout of Prince Will and Devin Harper? I think...
Well, it's because LSU doesn't have to pay the buyout. It's the players have to pay the buyout.
I still can't believe they're allowing the players to be put in that position. But
I agree, but that is the semantics of it. It's not that LSU owes that money. Prince Will and Harper owe that money.
What happened? Can you explain? I'm so sorry. We can't rehash the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, we can't.
The headline on ESPN College Football will take you where you need to go on this story. We got too much else to get to. Can LeBron play for Ohio State?
That's a legit question, though. Like,
he didn't play in college.
Could he just say, you know what? I want to play 1 year of college football. Want to enjoy 1 year with the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think it'll be fun. Should I do that? Possible, I guess.
Yeah. And then, Lucas, why can't the NFL step in and do something? Like we said before, you might be just joining us. I think that they can, and I would expect them to.
Could Jackson Dart return theoretically? Dart played, 4 years, so he would have an extra year. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but, he obviously won't, of course.
Right.
It's crazy. It's a crazy world we're in. Part of me wonders if you're going to see a Sorsby-like response from the other SEC states.
No.
If the state of Alabama certainly is going to, or they should anyway, because of the Bediako situation.
I just don't think they will, because they all know this is not the gambling thing. This is something totally different, and I think they're going to look at it
they'll probably get behind the SEC, but not the way that the Big 12 had. But either way, I won't hold you to it because things are fluid and they change a lot. Mm-hmm. Over under 1.5 games played for Daquan Wright for LSU this year.
I think he'll end up playing. I'll say over.
I wouldn't be surprised if...
Tre'Davious Green is the starter there, but he'll be... I won't be surprised if he's their second tight end. Because he'll come in, he'll know the terminology. There's no growing pains for him. He knows the offense. Just plug him in. He can plug in.
I wouldn't be surprised if this gets tied up legally for a while. That the SEC finds ways to block this, at least for a period of time. I would be surprised, and look, I'm wrong often. I would be surprised if he plays against Clemson next week.
Right, yeah.
I would be surprised if he suits up and plays against Clemson.
But that's the thing, though. He was in an NFL training camp. He's in shape.
I'm not talking about from a game speed perspective. Yeah. I think the SEC is going to try to tie it up legally to prevent it from happening.
I got you.
What will end this? Once you start playing college ball, you have 5 years unless medically hurt. What will end it? Collective bargaining. That's what will end it. Or Ted Cruz. But do you guys have any faith that Congress is going to save us right now?
No.
Especially, more on Mornings with Cross and Middays with Gerard. Now you've got this stuff with the imports of meat that, there's just a lot that Congress is about to start dealing with. Getting kind of close to election season also. Gas prices haven't gone down yet, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think the college football bill is going to be top of docket when they get back into session.
You don't know that.
It probably could, but the first one didn't work, so why do we think the second one's going to work? Especially now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We shall see.
That we shall, but can we talk about real stuff now? Games, players, the season. Can we leave the legalities behind? Can we
Somebody says if the crooked judge hadn't let Chambliss play, none of this happens. Hey, there were.
I can't help but agree. But go ahead.
There were dozens upon dozens upon dozens of court cases involving players and eligibility and money and everything before Chambliss. So that's just not accurate in any way, shape, or form.
Sounds pretty accurate to me.
No, it's not at all. But, we can all believe what we want. We can also be wrong. That's okay.
I think there's some truth to that.
No, you don't. We'll be back.
And the Venable Glass.
Sports Talk Mississippi, your new home for exclusive sports coverage here in the Magnolia State.
Let me put it to you this way.
Right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Larry thinks we say moron mornings, like we're calling Richard a moron.
We aren't.
More on mornings with
Richard Cross.
Richard Cross.
Moron mornings with Richard Cross is maybe if he makes us mad one day.
Honestly, though, hey, Dad, that's a great insult for his text line, though.
Yeah.
Turned into moron mornings again. I might text him that right now, actually.
Yeah.
I'll take whatever clip they post of his show today and moron mornings. What did y'all think was going to happen? I see that a lot too. He says, all of you who supported NIL started this mess we have today. No. Nope. What started this mess was the NCAA and the commissioners and everybody's inability to recognize what was happening. I don't know how clear it needs to be that the NCAA's rules violated the law. They kept losing, and they didn't try to fix it. They just dug their heels in, buried their heads in the sand. That is why we're here. I'm a nobody. I'm irrelevant. And 10 years ago, I started talking about this. I knew this was coming, and I was some dope 24-year-old fresh out of college, didn't know nothing about nothing, and I knew this was coming. Bunch of commissioners with all these advanced degrees and all these presidents with all their intelligence and education, and they all saw it too. But digging their heels in was better for their bottom line than doing what needed to be done to stop violating the law. That's all I wanted. I wanted the law to stop being violated. Everything else is up to them. And they chose not to act. It's all their fault. Every single one of them. Hey, Dad, how much golf did you watch this weekend?
There was golf this weekend?
What was your sports viewing over the weekend?
I watched some preseason. That's about it. I watched a lot of Premier League. A ton. First weekend of the year, I watched a bunch of that. But that's about it.
I had a birthday party to go to. Thank goodness I didn't watch the Saints.
Yeah, not great. I really wish that Shuck had played in that game.
He'll play in the third one, I guess, they said.
That's fine, but a series or two wouldn't have hurt him, but they played terribly.
Saints Twitter lost its mind because people are dumb, hey, Dad, and I guess they hear what they want. Kellen Moore, the first thing he said after the game was, preseason, regular season doesn't matter. We didn't coach well enough. I didn't have the team prepared to play, etc.
Right.
They thought he was saying preseason doesn't matter, and so, therefore, what happened on the field was fine. That's what they thought he said.
That's not what he said at all.
Not even close. But there was a total meltdown about what Kellen Moore said after the game. And then Sean Payton would have been madder. Wait, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler threw a pick six in the second quarter of a preseason game in front of 30,000 people, okay? Let's calm down a little bit.
It'll be all right.
Although if Lenora Sellers gets hurt, maybe there's a spot for him in Columbia. How's the soccer been, though? We did the Premier League preview. How was the weekend?
Outstanding. Some good games, a couple of big upsets, and then today, last game of the weekend, Chelsea gets all 3 points. So I'll take that. If Rhino's listening, gotcha. Little closer defensively. We got to figure some things out. Our keeper is trash. He's trash. But other than that, really fun. Manchester United losing the first game of the weekend or the first game of Saturday. All their I'm telling you, man, it's a gamble. You wake up at 6:30 a.m. You're just hoping for the best. Did I get up this early for no reason? And if you're a Manchester United fan, you did this weekend.
They used to be like the brand.
Yeah, they still are. They still are in terms of they're still one of the biggest clubs in the world, but they aren't what they used to be. But they still command respect. It's kind of like the Yankees. The Yankees haven't won a world title since 2009. But you say the New York Yankees, it still commands a certain level of respect. Manchester United is the same way.
So I'm predisposed to not like them, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it's kind of like being same with the Cowboys. The Cowboys, Yankees, Manchester United, kind of all the same thing there. Like if you're a fan of them right now that hasn't been there your whole life, you're probably a bandwagon fan.
Their logo is sick, though. It's a great
Red Devils,
logo.
yeah, that's great, yeah.
You know what else is great? Winners and losers. We will do that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Send them in, 601-879-4395.
Your place for crazy people. If it's sports in Mississippi, you'll hear about it here. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Back here on Sports Talk Mississippi, Brian Hadad and Michael Borkey with you on a Monday afternoon. We're in the Pearl River Resort Studio. C-Spire text line open to you, and boy, you guys have been working it overtime at 601-879-4395. Tuesday, September the 15th, the week of the Ole Miss LSU game, which just keeps getting more and more fuel in the fire every day. We want you guys to come join us. We're going to be at Ag Up in Canton for the kickoff to Deer Season Customer Appreciation Event. Live broadcast of the show and a great afternoon for everybody who drops by. Burgers on the grill at 5:30, and then from 6 until 8, 90s country music cover band, the Honky Tonk Playboys, will be on the stage. I plan to ask them to play Lost and Found by Brooks and Dunn. Let's see what they got. That's the song I'm going to request from our friends at the Honky Tonk Playboys. Plus, all day from 3 to 8, there's going to be vendor booths, giveaways. You can talk to some of the outdoor industry partners there at Ag Up, and there's going to be special equipment offers to be had as well. So whatever you're doing this fall, Ag Up can get you ready for it with a quick trip to see them. So come by and see us on Tuesday, September 15th from 3 until 8 at Ag Up Equipment, 160 Calhoun Commerce Park Drive in Canton. Free food, free stuff, and spend the evening with Ag Up Equipment. We look forward to seeing you there. It's Monday. It's 4 o'clock. You know what's up. It's winners and losers.
All I do is win, no matter what. I'm a loser, baby. We got winners. We got losers.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser.
Winner never win. And a winner never quit.
What did you like from the weekend? What didn't you like? Let us know on the C-Spire text line, 601-879-4395. Michael Borkey, you will give us a winner, and you'll like it.
Oh, it's a good one, too. Keldrick Luster. By the way, great name. Keldrick Luster won the quarterback battle at Ball State. He's a Texas State transfer, and he's going to be the starter at Ball State. Hey, Dad. He's 5'10".
I saw this, yeah.
He's 5'10". 250 pounds.
You seen the nickname going around for this?
No.
Bowling Ball State?
Bowling Ball State. Heck yes. Keldrick Luster is the favorite player you've never seen play yet. 5'10", 250. playing quarterback for Ball State. And frankly, the 250, like he wears it pretty well. He's cut and built and all that, but he's a little bowling ball and he's playing quarterback for, I guess they're the Cardinals, right, this season.
Yeah.
And I will, if I see Ball State on the TV, I will absolutely hit play so I can see that guy play quarterback for the Cardinals this year. I am in. Keldrick Luster.
I want to put him on the list with a high school quarterback from, what high school is this? I can't find the high school, but Fat Boy Jesus Capisi. I assume it's Jesus. It might be the other name. Don't
and you
say
might be thinking, Fat Boy's got to be his nickname, right?
Nope. It's his given Christian name, Fat Boy. 6'1", 268-pound quarterback. Let's go.
Move.
Let's go.
Ball State opens with Ohio State, by the way.
I want to see that kid Luster just one time break loose and just bowl over some Ohio State defender.
His short legs just moving so fast.
Yeah, exactly. That's good stuff for sure. Let's see. I'm half tempted to say LSU just because, you know what? They know how to work the headlines. They stay in the news. There's no such thing as bad publicity down in Baton Rouge.
It's amazing. I admire the heck out of what they're doing. They just come at me, Greg Sankey. You can't do nothing to me.
If you're all about winning, you're all about winning.
They're all about winning.
And they really do seem to be all about winning down there. Oh goodness, I'm trying to think if there's another. Nothing really stands out. This is like the calm before the storm weekend. I don't really want to do a Premier League winner. I will give you. There's a bunch of losers this weekend though, so I'm just going to jump into that. We'll start with the Cleveland Browns and their fans. Like I feel, the Browns, their fans have suffered long enough. But today, to find out that they're just going to go with Deshaun Watson, goodness gracious, man, this is just so bad. I feel really bad for them. I don't understand why they drafted Shedeur Sanders at this point. You drafted Dylan Gabriel. You could have used that 5th round pick on a player that could actually contribute, but instead, that's your second quarterback there. The boos, it really does feel personal. I feel like every time he gets the ball snapped to him, he's going to hear the boos. They don't want him to succeed at this point. I thought I was really surprised to find out Deshaun Watson was going to be the starting quarterback for the Browns. So we'll go with that.
Yeah, his press conference was just horrendous. I feel for the Browns for sure. How about this bizarre story? The owner of the 49ers, Jed York.
Got to throw this in. This is another one that makes no. This is if you have not heard this story, when I tell you, you have no idea what he's about to say. You could never guess it in a million years. I'm telling you the truth. Go.
The owner of the San Francisco 49ers, Jed York, was arrested in a small town in Ohio, in rural Ohio, south of Youngstown, called East Palestine, Ohio. And he was arrested on suspicion of engaging in prostitution.
Where exactly was he arrested?
East Palestine.
No. Don't. Where precisely?
Rural Ohio.
You're almost there. He was arrested
in a trailer park.
In a trailer park.
In rural
This man is
Ohio.
worth over $1 billion. He was arrested in a trailer park on charges of soliciting prostitution. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, billionaires have been known to take advantage of a high-priced lady of the night, spend big money on an escort. How much was the money involved, Michael Borkey?
$160.
Ew. Dude, you're a billionaire. What is happening? Why is there a billionaire getting arrested for picking up a hooker in a trailer park in Ohio? Sounds like a Mad Lib.
It's just hard to fathom.
Like, what on earth? And when Marty says not different from Robert Kraft, I disagree. Completely different, in my opinion. Yes, the end product is the same, but, it's different. This is different. You agreed to go. You were a billionaire who agreed to go to a trailer park in rural Ohio to pay for sex. What on earth are we doing here? We have the worst billionaires ever. All of our billionaires suck. Like, why can't we have a cool billionaire? Where's Bruce Wayne when I need him? All of the billionaires we have are just awful people.
He is 46 years old, owns the 49ers, co-owns 2 different European soccer clubs, famous ones, well-known ones as well, Leeds and Rangers. It's a co-owner.
Big clubs.
Big clubs.
Yeah.
The son of John York, who, it was York Enterprises. Anyway, his dad is uber wealthy, and he's obviously uber wealthy, and he's not like, this is going to be kind of weird, he's not like an ugly person.
Even if you are an ugly person, when you're a billionaire, it doesn't make a difference.
The picture of the place where he was arrested is shocking that the owner of the 49ers was there at all, like doing anything at all, let alone doing what he was doing there. The strangest story this offseason in sports is that one right there. What were you doing? It's
unbelievable. Like, you're a billionaire, and I want to go through your thought process. I better find out that he was on crack. I need to find that. I need to know that there were drugs involved. Because if he did that sober, then he's just dumber than a sack of hammers. I don't know how else to describe it. Goodness gracious, that's a rough one. That's really, really bad.
I guess was sentenced to, 2 days in jail, and that's it, really, $1,000 fine,
yeah.
and he's on his way. Imagine, going to the owner's box.
Yeah.
And how that's going to feel when you walk into your stadium and everybody's looking at you
I assume he's married.
TMZ reported recently that is no longer the case.
You think?
No, before this arrest.
Well, I'm going to assume it's there. This wasn't the first time for him to head to the trailer park.
Bizarre story.
I just can't get over it. When I read that story, I was just like, every detail was more surprising than the next. I can't believe there's a billionaire out there who felt the need to drop $140 at a trailer park for a good time. My God, man.
Yeah. Also, winner, Columbia High School. This was sent to me over the weekend from Josh. 100 is it not Columbia High School, Mississippi? Columbia High School, Alabama. 101 consecutive losses on the football field. Their last win came on October 16th, 2015. They won a game on Friday night. Sammy Coates, the head coach, led them to their first win since October of 2015. And they dominated the game as well. Sports Talk Mississippi, your winners and losers when we come back.
And the Venable Glass. Sports Talk Mississippi. To the junction, in the groove, and to the top. Sports Talk Mississippi on Super Talk Mississippi.
This has become like a trend recently on social media of I'm the first in my entire ancestry to ever hear this sentence.
Yeah.
That's a new thing. And I am the first person from the Hadad bloodline, dating all the way back to, God knows how far back into the old country, to hear the words, billionaire football team owner arrested at trailer park for solicitation of prostitution. No other Hadad has ever heard that sentence before today.
You're a trailblazer.
Me, my brother, and I guess my uncle and his son out in Texas. That's it. That's all the Hadads that have heard that sentence.
Keith says, winner, Anthony Johnson Jr. of the Midwest Region Little League World Series team struck out 15 batters in 5 2/3 innings. Also had a 280-foot monster shot home run.
That's awesome.
I love the idea of the Little League World Series. I don't love how often it feels like it is corrupted by bad actors.
We had some of that, with the thing in Oklahoma, right?
And they caught that. What have they not caught?
Yeah,
Yeah, youth sports and how corrupt it is. It's just shocking. So I hope it stays as pure as possible. I just have my doubts. But still, awesome performance. Every time I see Little League World Series highlights, when the kid is like a head taller than all the other ones, the I am 12 with the $20 bill inside of it.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it, yeah.
Let's see. Winner, Trinidad and Kiwan's Heisman at Times Square. Saw that. Oregon did that with
Joey Harrington.
And they did that more recently, too.
Did they do it with Mariota?
I think they did it with Bo Nix.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Ended up having a good year. I think Ole Miss would take a Bo Nix stat line this season from Trinidad.
He ended up being
just fine.
The 10th pick in the draft. He couldn't have been bad.
Yeah. I think they take that. Winner, college football fans, college football playoff eliminator between UNLV and Memphis. Week 0 is peak. Also,
That's
winner
awesome.
Wyndham Clark becomes the first player since the BMW Championship had been a part of the FedEx Cup playoffs to shoot even par or worse and win the tourney. Loser Rory was in peak President Cup form down the stretch yesterday. Yeah, Rory kind of choked. Wyndham Clark wins again. I know, there's the discourse about how people don't like him and stuff like that. I think that the way he has responded to all of that's been impressive, considering. It's got to be really hard to have every single person in a crowd like that, in a sport like that, actively rooting against you.
Mm-hmm. People don't like Wyndham Clark.
He's the guy that kicked the locker at Oakmont.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody talked.
Okay.
Everybody reacted to that like he was kicking their dog.
Yeah.
It was a bit overblown to a degree. I mean, it's not something that you should do. But anyway, that got held against him as if he committed violence against numerous small puppies. And, he broke a locker, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, winner. Michael Lasasso for winning Live. And yeah, it was impressive. He had to beat John Rahm to do it. The former Ole Miss golfer won a lot of money yesterday. Unfortunately, that gets overshadowed a little bit by the fact that was the last Live event in its current form, and most of the conversation was about its downfall as opposed to him getting a win. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean he didn't get a win.
Right.
And the money, although Live is not paying its vendors and stuff like that, will eventually hit his bank account. And
you hope,
right? But that'll take care of his grandchildren, the winner's check for that event yesterday. So good on him. And he's going to seemingly try to get on the DP World Tour or whatever. I mean, maybe he sticks around for Live 2.0, but I think he's already signed up for DP World Tour Q School, and now that he's made this kind of money, I hope he takes a more traditional route in golf because he's good enough to do it, clearly. So, good stuff, though. A lot of money won yesterday from him.
Very cool.
Let's see. You got to scroll up through a lot of the Mad Lib responses and stuff about this 49ers owner, Hadad.
I mean, it's just incredible. Winner, I hit a 5-team MLB parlay at 12-1 odds. That was 50 cents, won $6. Hey, winning is winning, all right? You just got yourself a gallon and a half of gas, depending on where you live,
Winner, Preston Johnson, former Diamond Dog.
What did he do?
You tell me.
I don't know. I have no idea what he did.
Aren't you supposed to know that?
No, I don't keep up with minor league baseball. Once they leave Starkville, until they get to the big show, I'm kind of out. I kept up with Jake because he's a friend. That's about it.
I probably shouldn't admit this. I'll be transparent. I don't even necessarily know what's going on when they make the show either.
Yeah, so.
I would. Maybe I should. Like, I guess, Nick Fortes, right? I couldn't tell you what his stats are. But it's awesome that he made the show and all that. Minor league baseball is really hard to keep up with.
Yeah, for sure.
But, hey, good on him for doing something good. I had somebody text me privately a little while ago, hey, Dad, is there any update on Manning and Silla
There is not. Simple as that. Until, I don't. They're still practicing. Tomorrow is the last day of any kind of player, any kind of availability of any kind. So once you get through tomorrow, they'll talk to some players. I assume neither one of them will be Manning or Silla, and then it's shut down until next Monday when we'll talk to Levy and some players prior to the Week 1 press conference. So no update of any kind, and that's just how it is.
If Xavier Harris and Daquan Wright are cleared to play and State does not, and I don't think that they're going to let this go, but if those two guys play but State does not get those two guys to play, at that point it's a failure. They're practicing with you. Yeah. They can help you win. If a guy that was getting paid by the Browns and played with them this past weekend can play, and you don't do what needs to be done to get those guys to play under different circumstances, I mean, is it harsh to say that you're not serious about winning?
I think it would be harsh to say that, but at the same time, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense that you're not making some moves for that.
Their cases are so much easier to stomach than guys coming back after getting contracts and being in training camp.
Yeah.
And then transferring. Like, there's levels. Nobody's willing to understand nuance anymore. Everything's got to be black and white, which is ridiculous because there's nuances to this. Manning and Silla did not have guaranteed contracts. They were minicamp tryout guys.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing. They didn't play in preseason games. They didn't get six-figure contracts. They got tryout invites and didn't make it. Months ago. Not today. No, months ago.
Yeah, you're right.
It's different.
A friend of mine wants to ask you, like, is there a spy store in Oxford? Because Kiffin had bugs and he had hidden cameras. Like, where did he get all this stuff? Is he buying it out of the back of a Mad magazine?
So Pete Golding was asked about it, and he laughed, and he was like, it's not like we hired somebody. One of the players on the team's dad works for the FBI, so we figured, why not let him come check it out, is how Pete Golding phrased that.
I said on the podcast, like, I want to see the correspondent. I may file an FOIA. I want to see all correspondence between the University of Mississippi and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Please let me see all of that. I want all the emails.
The FBI. They don't have to. They're not beholden to.
I can get the Ole Miss stuff.
Yeah, sure, you could if there's emails and anything.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that from what you're just describing, it's not. But that's just hilarious.
Hey, Dad.
Like, yeah.
Would you really put it past Lane Kiffin to set up something
I
in the
wouldn't
coach's
put anything
office on his
this
way out the door?
Past Lane Kiffin.
See? So it's kind of...
Yeah, I got no problem believing he would do it.
I mean, especially because after he left, they still had his... They were having to, like, dismiss coaches during certain meeting times and, like, go to different meeting rooms and stuff. Wouldn't be surprised if he asked one of his assistants, hey, when you leave, put your phone down on record and then come back and get it later.
It's possible. Anything's possible with that guy.
Well, and especially just in college football when you have the Stallions deal.
Bought it from a guy wearing a trench coat. Spy versus spy.
Man.
We're going to see Kiffin. He's going to have those X-ray glasses they sell in the back of magazines next.
Well, you got all these people wearing those Meta recording glasses.
He's going to go old school.
You ever seen that Meta commercial where the kid's playing golf and his grandfather's watching him play golf through his Meta glasses?
No. I don't think I've seen that commercial. That's a cool idea, though.
It is a cool idea. But also, where's the end game there, you know?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. So
601-879-4395. We got 2 teams to get to on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. We will knock one of those out when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Don't go anywhere.
From the Seabrook
Sports Talk Mississippi. Sports. On your radio and in the game. Super Talk Mississippi.
Very busy day for us here on the C Spire text line with all of the winners and losers and the LSU stuff. Just we appreciate you guys chiming in. We appreciate you guys talking back with us. Certainly a lot of opinions to be had, and we appreciate hearing yours. If you want to join the show, C Spire text line 601-879-4395.
Is it time?
Yeah,
to
it
get
is.
to team number 6. We are down to 6 on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days.
This day is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. This day is bananas.
100 teams in 100 days.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
It's the final countdown.
Team number 6, we go to the SEC, a new member of the SEC, and a great fight song. Honestly, I hate that I love this fight song, because when they play it in person, it hits. The Texas Longhorns.
You know, we give A&M a lot of grief about the fact that their song mentions Texas. Texas's fight song mentions A&M.
It does.
Yeah.
And also, Texas, I mean, a program that is so great, great, elite at one thing. And that is dramatically underachieving relative to the resources that they have afforded to them. They have money. They have brand power. They're in a talent-rich state. They are awfully proud of themselves. Some would call it hubris. I'm kidding. But Texas, hey, Dad, it has been 21 years since Texas won the national championship with Vince Young. A baby born that night can legally consume alcohol. That is how long it's been since Texas has been at the top of college football. They have a stadium that, quite frankly, it looks beautiful. DKR, Darryl K. Royal. I can't talk. Darryl K. Royal. Unique New York Memorial Stadium at Campbell Williams Field rolls off the tongue, but it is huge. 100,119 actual seats, but it looks gigantic. They built it on top of itself. If you compare the Big House at Michigan and DKR at Texas, you would not think that the Big House at Michigan holds more people. But architecturally, it looks intimidating, and at times it can be, as well as a road environment. Although, Kansas has had opportunities to go in there and win games and have done it in the past. Again, perpetual underachievers, those Texas Longhorns. But do they have the right guy, and do they have the right roster this season? I think that answer is yes. Texas is a national championship contender this season. We'll see if they can get it done. Last year, little underwhelming, as you guys know. They opened with that loss at Ohio State where they crossed the 50 once. One time, offensively, did they move the ball across the 50-yard line. They beat San Jose State in an uninspiring game. They beat UTEP in an even less inspiring game. They beat Sam Houston badly before that loss at Florida. And, buddy, that was a bad loss for Steve Sarkisian. Then they beat Oklahoma, though, and that was a huge bounce-back win. They beat them, obviously, at the Red River Shootout. Then they beat Kentucky by 3 in Lexington. Again, they were really struggling offensively for major parts of the season. Then they go to Mississippi State. I'm not going to put salt in the wound, Bulldog fans. You guys know what happened there. Big comeback for Texas in that game. And then they beat Vanderbilt by a field goal. So just scraping by the skin of their teeth. Pretty hard to watch at times was that Texas offense.
Yeah.
Then they lost at Georgia. 35-10 was the score. Ugh. They beat Arkansas and Texas A&M to end the season before Arch Manning kind of allowed the hype to build because he played well in the Cheez-It Bowl against Michigan.
Well, he played really well Basically after the Florida.
Yeah, that A&M win was a good night
after
for him,
the Florida
too.
game, he played well. Didn't play well against Georgia, but none of them did. But, I mean, played well against Mississippi State, played well against Vanderbilt, played well against A&M, played well against Arkansas, played well. He played well. Like, the first half, the first and the second half of the season were just different seasons for him. And now, looking ahead to this year, they have added so much talent around him, including maybe the best receiver in college football in Cam Coleman. But he's definitely number 2 behind he's no better than 2, I guess I should say, because Jeremiah Smith's 1. But Coleman is probably a very strong case for number 2. Couple of guys who rushed for almost 1,000 yards at their previous schools. They still have Ryan Wingo. Great offensive line in front of them, even with the injury to Trevor Goulby. They're going to be really good. They are my pick to win the national championship.
And will they get there? We'll see. They open with Texas State before hosting Ohio State in Week 2, and that will be an unbelievable game to watch. It also is a night kickoff as well. Wasn't it last time Ohio State played at Texas? Was it Ohio State, Texas, where it kicked off at 11 a.m. years ago?
No, that was at Alabama.
It was Alabama, Texas that kicked off at 11 a.m.
It was the year before they came to the conference.
Yeah, I remember that now, yes.
Yeah, really hot game.
That very well could be a national championship preview in Week 2. Then they host UTSA before going to Neyland at Tennessee. They have an off week.
Ever.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
The real UT. Who will stand up in that one? They obviously will face off Oklahoma in the Red River Shootout before hosting Florida and Ole Miss and Mississippi State. 3 consecutive home conference games for Texas. Then back-to-back road games at Missouri and LSU before hosting Arkansas and finishing the season at Texas A&M. That schedule now, not easy. Ohio State, at Tennessee, Ole Miss, at Missouri, at LSU, at Texas A&M.
We talked about, was it A&M finishing with Oklahoma and Texas? It's like they're back in the Big 12. This one's even further. Arkansas and Texas A&M is like they're back in the Southwest Conference. We're going back to the 80s. Let's go.
Yeah. But I'm with you, though. This is, we use the phrase no excuses roster when it comes to Pete Golding and Ole Miss. Steve Sarkisian better win at a high level. Not squeezing by, making the playoff. Mm-hmm. You need to make noise. It's not national title or bust. That does not exist for
but if you
any
get into
coach.
The semis, you're good.
Yeah, that just doesn't exist for any coach. But if you unceremoniously end the season, if you don't win the SEC, if you don't win a playoff game or 2,
there's questions
with this
gonna be
roster
asked.
and Arch, it's gonna
be asked.
Missing the
playoff would cost Sarkisian his job.
I agree,
no question about it.
9-3 with a playoff miss. See ya.
You're out. You got to go.
Even if it's like, hey, we want to fire you. Find yourself a soft landing spot.
Yeah. I didn't look for TripAdvisor on this one. You might think I'm going to go Franklin's Barbecue, probably the most famous one, but I am not. I'm going with one of the, I think, 2 Michelin-starred barbecue restaurants in the state of Texas, and one is in Austin. It's Leroy and Lewis, New School Barbecue. Borkey, they have all the favorites. They got some pulled pork, but it's pulled whole hog. It's not just the shoulders, right? They got the whole pigs on the grill. They have brisket, sure. They also have the flat iron, the beef cheeks, the tri-tip. They got a couple of kinds of sausage. If you're a vegetarian, I don't know why you'd go to Texas, but if you would, they got cauliflower burnt ends. They got sides you don't find everywhere else.
What?
Cauliflower burnt ends.
How can it be a burnt end when it's not the... Are they saying it's the end of the goofy plant?
Well, I guess they're just calling it a burnt end. I mean, you can call it whatever you want.
I guess you can.
This place is well-renowned. It is one of those places where you will get in line. Maybe not as bad as Franklin, but, because I think they do a little bit more in terms of prep. But this is a place that started as a food truck, and now it's a Michelin-starred restaurant. I think that's a pretty good story. And the guy who does a couple of guys I watch their videos on YouTube. They know what they're talking about for sure. They invented a thing called bacon ribs, where basically you take you buy a pork belly that still has the bones on it, cure it like bacon, and then smoke it like ribs. And apparently, it's a life-changing bite of barbecue. I'd love to try that. So I say all that. You don't really need me to tell you that when you're in Texas, you should probably go get some barbecue. When you're in Austin, especially, there's so many great restaurants. But I think Leroy and Lewis, from what I'm told, stands above them all. So if you're ever in Austin and you got a hankering for smoked meats, go to Leroy and Lewis. You tell them that Hadad and Borkey sent you.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, no doubt.
I want to go to Austin one day. I've just heard really awesome things about, like, especially the comedy scene. I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy, and I would love to go to the Mothership. That's Rogan's club that he owns. You look at the lineup of comedians that show up there every night; it's unbelievable. So that and just eat barbecue and go see stand-up for a few days. I've got to go do that. And of all places, Austin, Texas, the stand-up comedy capital of the world now. Yeah. Not L.A., not New York, it's Austin. Yeah. So, Texas, team number 6. Should we quickly do 5 when we come back?
We should. Somebody says it'd be funny if Sark got fired and Kiffin went to Texas. Hold that thought. We'll be back.
And the Venable Glass. Sports Talk Mississippi. Sports Talk Mississippi.
You know I love sports.
On Super Talk Mississippi.
All right, let's get to team number 5 right now on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. This is a program that used to not make the 100. They used to not make the 100, and now they're number 5. The reigning national champions, Indiana Hoosiers. That's still weird to say. But, buddy, did they earn it? Not the best fight song you've ever heard.
It's very uninspiring. I wouldn't be surprised if Signetti's like, we got to do something with it.
Sounds like something at a USO show.
We need some ads. We need to add some tubas.
They play at Memorial Stadium. It's just Indiana Memorial Stadium. They've done a really nice job on renovations of it. It used to be a dump, and it still could use some work, but it looks a lot better now than it used to. They've done some good things there. Smaller stadiums, 53,524 fit inside, and they used to have trouble getting 24,000 people into their home games. Not anymore, thanks to Curt Cignetti. You guys know him. I'd win. Google me, is what he said at his introductory press conference, and boy, did he follow through on that promise. He left Nick Saban's staff all the way back after the 2010 season, and as the story goes, he told Nick Saban, I think that I'm good enough to be a head coach. Nobody big is calling me. I've received this offer from the Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and I'm going to go take it. It's a pay cut. It's whatever, but I think I can win, and he did that. He went 53-17 at IUP. Then he got the Elon job, and he went to the playoffs in each of his 2 years at Elon. Then he gets the James Madison job, and boom. 14-2, 7-1. That was the COVID year. 12-2, had a down year at 8-3, and then 11-1. Then he gets the Indiana job, and in year 1 goes 11-2. They were the talk of college football, but remember, the only team with a pulse that they played beat them. They had possibly the easiest schedule in all of the Power 4/5, and Notre Dame beat them in the playoffs. But they didn't play poorly that day. They just didn't have the horses. Well, in year 2, they had the horses. They beat Old Dominion. Do you know that mascot off the top of your head?
Monarchs.
The Monarchs. Then they beat Kennesaw State and Indiana State. I know you know this mascot thanks to a basketball player.
The Indiana State, the Sycamores.
The Sycamores. Then they beat Illinois, 63-10. They went to Iowa and won by 5. That's impressive. Then they went to Oregon and won by 10. That's really impressive. Then they beat Michigan State, 38-13. They beat UCLA, 56-6. They beat Maryland, 55-10. They won at Penn State. Crazy finish, crazy game. Gus Johnson was possessed by a demon for a little while there. Oh! They beat Wisconsin, 31-7. They beat Purdue, their rival, 56-3.
I'm trying to picture Gus Johnson possessed by a demon. Bring me an old priest and a young priest, young fella. Oh!
Then they beat Ohio State 13-10 in the Big Ten championship
Very
game.
close game.
And then the Rose Bowl dominated Alabama 38-3, and frankly, the game wasn't that close. Then they played in the Peach Bowl against Oregon 56-22. Then they played Miami in the national championship game. Fernando Mendoza, the hero.
I forgot how bad that was. Like, I remember how badly they beat Alabama, but gosh, dog, they destroyed Oregon.
Oh, they did. Just one of the more impressive runs to a championship in the history of
really
the sport.
Was.
Maybe not number one, but it's up there in the discussion. This year, they opened with North Texas, Howard, and Western Kentucky. Shout out the Big Ten for your non-conference schedules. Then they host Northwestern before going to Rutgers and going to Nebraska in consecutive weeks. And then it gets a little bit more difficult. They host Ohio State. They go to Michigan. They host Minnesota before an off week. They host USC and go to Washington before hosting Purdue. Don't think they're going undefeated again this season. Obviously, replacing a quarterback. They bring in Josh Hoover and a lot of pieces on that team, but still sky-high expectations in their year after winning the national championship and going 16-0.
I reached out to two different Hoosiers to try to get the best restaurant. Neither one of them are answering me, including my podcast co-host, Carlo Barone. But I was like, what's the best restaurant in Bloomington? So we're going to have to go to TripAdvisor because nobody can answer a text in the middle of the afternoon. It's Lenny's is the name of this place, not the sub place that some of us might be familiar with. It's a pizza place. First off, one of their appetizers, Cajun barbecue shrimp. Okay, guys, let's calm down. Let's calm down, Bloomington, Indiana. Cajun shrimp, let's calm down.
I don't know about that one, Jim.
I know, but they got all sorts of great-looking pizzas available, pastas. If you really want a lemon herb tofu salad or sandwich, that's right up your alley. But the pizzas are what they're known for. Plenty of different specialty pizzas, strombolis. I believe they may have calzones, so Adam Scott could be really happy. It looks like a pretty awesome pizza place for, a college town. I would definitely go check it out. So, if you're ever in Bloomington, head by Lenny's for a slice and tell them that Borkey and Hadad sent you.
College football fix. Quarterback battles being decided all over the country. We'll tell you about it when we come back.
Let's go. This is your new home for exclusive sports coverage here in the Magnolia State. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Oh, no. What happened?
Well, both my Hoosiers got back to me during the break. I was like, oh, you're too late. But Carlo picked a restaurant. That's the name of it is Janko's Little Zagreb, which is Zagreb is the capital of Croatia. So I told Stefan Krajnik, who's Serbian, I was like, I bet you would never go here. He's like, what did he pick? And I told him, he was like, that son of... The Serbian-Croatian thing, it's very real. Very real.
And it's real. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. I'm Borkey. He's Hadad. We are so glad that you are with us. We talked a lot about the thing we had to talk about today, even though none of us want to talk about it anymore because it's football season and it's only going to get worse before it gets better, by the way. If the rumors are to be believed, there's going to be lots of former NFL players heading down south. I want to stop
you right there. It's going to get better very soon because there's going to be real games. We got games Saturday. All of this can be put to the side. I could care less who's on anybody's roster once the ball's kicked off. Let's go.
In 5 days. Speaking of, we know who's going to play quarterback at a lot of high-profile schools in the country, and then one that has a Mississippi tie. And we'll tell you about it for the College Football Fix.
The College Football Fix is driven by your Mississippi Ford dealer. Built Ford Tough. The best-selling truck in America sure is. It's the Ford F-150. If you're in the market right now, are you trying to buy a new truck? Now's the time to do it. And now's the time to visit your local Mississippi Ford dealers today. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
We'll start with Florida. Not surprising, although this ended up being more of a battle than people initially anticipated. Aaron Philo, the Georgia Tech transfer, has won the job at Florida. He will be the Gators starting quarterback at least week 1 this season.
No real surprise. When we talked to Andrew Abity down at SEC Media Days, he did say it was a real contest. It was a real competition. But in the end of the day, Philo coming from Georgia Tech with his offensive coordinator, it just made sense.
It did, for sure. And so we'll see, obviously, what he looks like. I do know that a lot of people thought really highly of him behind Haynes King at Georgia Tech, but obviously not there anymore. He'll get 2 games under his belt before it gets real for him in week 3. He's got FAU, Florida Atlantic, and Campbell before going to Jordan Hare in week 3. That will not be an easy test for the inexperienced quarterback.
I'm telling you, there's some big games week 3 that are just going to be completely ignored. But that is one of them, Auburn, Florida.
Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Florida State, Mississippi State, South Carolina, and that's just out of the SEC. Vandy, NC State, A&M, Kentucky as well, all that weekend.
Yeah, all that weekend.
Any of those games the president could go to, but very well could choose one of them.
Yeah.
That'd be great for logistics. I bet people are excited about the possibility of the logistical nightmare.
May change some people's plans.
Tennessee, true freshman 5-star, is it Faison Brandon? Has won the quarterback
I think it's
battle.
just Faison.
Faison?
Yeah.
Faison Brandon, again, a 5-star true freshman. Josh Heupel giving the nod to the high-profile recruit.
Again, no real surprise. I think if you're Heupel in the situation he's in right now, I'm going high ceiling. 5-star kid, play him.
Beat out George McIntyre for that role. Brandon
sounds better, by the way? Like, who's your quarterback? Faison Brandon? Ooh. Who's your quarterback? George McIntyre? What? George McIntyre was my 3rd period chemistry teacher. What are we talking about? George McIntyre is not a name that inspires confidence.
It sounds like a guy that Jim Trussell would play at quarterback back in 2008.
No, it sounds like a guy that Jim Trussell would play at left guard. Right? It's not a quarterback name.
They got him out of Greensboro, North Carolina, the number 3 player in the country in the class of 2026. And not only is he a freshman, but he's still a baby. He's still only 18 years old.
Yeah.
And he will be taking the snaps for Tennessee. They open the season with Furman, and then week 2, he's at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Not an easy place to go play for the freshman. Then he'll have Kennesaw State before Texas. So we'll know a lot about
We'll know very soon, yeah.
Speaking of freshman quarterbacks, he has not been named the quarterback yet, but it sounds like at Vanderbilt, Jared Curtis is going to win that job. I mean, no surprise.
They said that they're going to play them both week 1, but Curtis is going to be the starting quarterback there. So another 5-star freshman quarterback. We got some interesting quarterbacks. When you think about guys who don't have a lot of experience, redshirt freshmen, true freshmen, some true sophomores. But Keelan Russell, who I don't think you've mentioned yet, named the starting quarterback at Alabama. Huge upside guy. Faison Brandon, huge upside. Curtis, huge upside. You've got to put Kamario Taylor into that discussion.
Yes.
Huge upside. Guy, he's making his 3rd start of his career. There's some big upside quarterbacks, young quarterbacks in the conference this year.
That is for sure. And then finally, out of the SEC, out of like the mainstream college football, but South Florida is going to start Michael Van Buren.
That's right.
Who beat out Luke Kromenhawk for the starting job there.
Jeff Elby knows quarterbacks. So, Van Buren, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what kind of offense Brian Hartline's going to be running down there.
I would assume very similar to Ryan Day's, but that's an assumption.
If that's the case, then, that's more of a Mullen style, but maybe a little less QB run. Van Buren can thrive in that. We'll see how his arm holds up.
Oh, we will see. And then, in the NFL, Deshaun Watson going to be the starting quarterback in Cleveland, and that's super popular.
I listened to the Bill Simmons podcast today, and they started the podcast talking about that, and he was like, they were both just like, Yeah, Sanders will win that job. You can't put Watson out there after everything that's been said this weekend. And never underestimate the Cleveland Browns' ability to be dumb. At this point, it's just like a gift. Like right now, if they could hire, they could go back in time. They could invent a time machine and hire, I don't know, 1995 Jimmy Johnson or 1990 Bill Parcells or 1972 Don Shula. They could hire any one of these guys, and that coach would go 3-14. It's just something. I mean, I know we're talking about Cleveland. We're saying that something's in the water. I mean, that has been the case many times in the past. Something is in the water, though. They just cannot win.
The river in Cleveland famously caught on fire.
Caught on fire.
Somebody asking how many former 5-stars are starting at SEC schools this year. That's a good question. I don't remember specifically the recruiting profiles.
Arch would be one.
Arch is one. Let's go through. Alabama, that's a yes,
Keelan Russell's
right?
a yes.
Was he a 5-star?
Yes.
Arkansas, no. Auburn, no. Florida, no. Georgia, no.
Stockton?
He wasn't a 5-star, was he?
He wasn't far off. He was a 4-star at the very least. A high 4-star. I'll look at it. You keep going.
Kentucky.
No.
Notre Dame transfer.
Let's see here. Gunnar Stockton, coming out of high school, was a 4-star. He was the number 7 quarterback in the nation.
So he was extremely close to being a 5.
Yeah.
Sam Leavitt, I don't think he was a 5-star out of high school.
No.
Trinidad Chambliss obviously was not. No. Kamario Taylor ended up not being one.
Yeah, he was right on the cusp, but no.
Austin Simmons also, I think, was just a 4. I don't
think he's a 4-star.
He was a 5 at one point somewhere.
Let's be sure.
Let's be sure.
Austin Simmons, coming out of high school, was a 4-star. He was the number 9 quarterback. So that's a transfer thing. No. That can't be right. He was a 3-star.
Out of high school?
4-star composite. 24/7 had him as a 3-star. But, I mean, not a very highly rated 4-star. Yeah.
John Mateer was not. No. Lenora Sellers, I don't know if he was a 5. He was highly sought after, but I don't think he was a 5-star. 5-stars are rare now.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 30 a year, yeah. Lenora Sellers, coming out of high school, was a 3-star. Number 34 quarterback in the country.
Tennessee, yes. Texas, you mentioned yes. Marcel Reed was not.
He was a 4-star, I think.
And Jared Curtis is. So what is that, 4 out of 16?
Yeah, it's still not bad, considering how, like you said, how few there are a year. Marcel Reed, coming out of high school, was a 4-star, the number 20 quarterback in the country.
That's crazy.
Was he committed to Ole Miss?
He was, and he said publicly that he didn't get recruited the same way that he got recruited elsewhere.
Well, that makes sense then.
When we come back, so we told you earlier in the show that Lebby and Golding both spoke to the media. We will play them both for you coming up here in a little bit. Not all of them. Pete Golding spoke for 24 minutes. We're not getting 24 minutes.
We could go home.
Here.
Go home.
And Lebby was about 10. But you'll hear a little bit of what each of them had to say, and we'll react to what we hear when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi. We're in the Pearl River Resort Studio. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you get them. Just search Sports Talk Mississippi. Subscribe there, and never miss a minute of this show because again, we already talked about the stuff, the unfortunate news of the day considering it's game week.
The grossness.
If you want to hear that, subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss it, and so I don't have to try to convince Hadad to talk about it again.
I'd appreciate that.
We'll be back in just a minute.
From the Venable Glass.
This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on SuperTalk.fm, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and always live on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Borkey and Hadad with you. When guests appear on the show, they do so on the Farm Bureau Guest Line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. We will consider this technically a guest. Pete Golding talked a little bit earlier today about his football team with the media. Here's some of that conversation. We will react to that on the other side. Here's some of Pete Golding, and then in the next segment, we'll do the same thing with Jeff Lebby.
All the summer, after all this is over, how does it feel to finally be in a game week?
No, it feels awesome. I mean, that's what we kind of talked about. Like, July was kind of that for me when we first spoke, to kind of get back into the ball piece of it. And then it was good to kind of get through camp, so to say. And today's the first day of class and getting our guys ready for that routine and what that looks like for those guys. But it's nice to dive into, all right, here's an opponent outside of, our offense and all those type of things, to kind of get in a routine for me of kind of what that's going to look like, day in and day out and all that. So it's nice to finally, this is kind of a hybrid week for us. It's not going to be all on game week mode. We're going to have a mock game this weekend and simulate some things and all that. But we still have a lot of guys that we got to get in the can-do category. So we're still going to do some good on good and some competition things to create opportunity for some of those guys. And then the guys that are playing winning football, it's the consistency of the execution right now that's the focus this week, and the attention to details and all that. But it's been awesome to be able to get in there and be like, all right, here's a red zone plan, here's a third down plan and all that, and look at somebody else. Now I've enjoyed it.
Two scrimmages in. What did you need to see, I guess, heading into this mock game this weekend?
To me, it's been really flashy, and I think that's when, the two team meetings that we've done after those scrimmages, there's enough things that you can see on tape. You're like, man, that's it. And that's winning football, and you can win a lot of football games doing that. But then same unit, same dudes, same calls, that's not it, And so the ups and downs right now, really in all three phases, is really what we're focusing on this week. And I think these guys got to get to the point, and they got to understand everybody doesn't get them my bad. And that's kind of what it's been up to this point. And so the consistency in that is something that we really got to focus on. And I mentioned this to you guys before. I mean, more games are lost in this league than won. And that's when you go through these drives out of these two scrimmages. Okay, the drive was either extended based on a non-aggressive penalty or a bust, or the drive was stopped, right, based on a non-aggressive penalty or a bust. And so that's not winning football. And so I think that's the key to this week. How do we clean those things up? And then from a situational standpoint, we got to get a little smarter in certain situations and do a better job from a coaching staff and letting them understand, like, look, we can't take a negative yardage play here. We're in field goal range, all those certain things that come up in games that you're simulating in practice that we got to make sure that we get right. So I think that's kind of this hybrid week for us this week, and then going into a real game week to really see what pieces, for sure are where and why.
Since we last talked to you in a couple scrimmages in, obviously, just what's the progress report on right tackle? Do you know what you guys are doing there yet, or is that still an open competition?
Yeah, it's still an open competition. I think, Tommy has really, really flashed. I thought this second scrimmage, I thought he played really, really well for probably about 30 to 35 snaps. I think that the tempo in which we play, right, and the amount of snaps right now that position is going to have to play, I think we got to continue to get him in shape. Obviously, getting Kern back for progressive weeks in a row has helped, has flashed, has done some good things. Another guy that falls in that consistency category right now. So, you're still looking, obviously from that standpoint, how can we rotate a couple of guys for worst case scenarios? And then what did one do better than the other, right, from a package standpoint? But, we got this week to kind of decide that, and then we kind of made that decision next week. But I would say right now, definitely Tommy has, probably flashed and been the most consistent up to this point.
With it being the first day of classes, how does academic kind of relay into the room a little bit? What is their academics, let me rephrase. What does their academics mean to this team, and how does it help them even gain playing time over someone who's maybe struggling academically?
Yeah, I mean, I think that starts at the top, and what emphasis do you put on it? So, from us, from January moving forward, we put everything under one umbrella, and that doesn't matter whether it's football, strength and conditioning, nutrition, or academics. Like, that's your responsibility. So when we put it on a schedule, whether you're late, you miss, you don't do what you're supposed to, like, the accountability phase of that's all exactly the same. And a lot of young guys don't understand that. But that goes back to that self-discipline piece that we talked about. They don't want to go to class, but they have to go to class. So here's something that I know I'm supposed to do, but I don't want to do. Can I make myself do it? Like, it's our responsibility to make sure we're making them do that. And so, a lot of that to our guys have been, how do you go over there with the right energy, attitude, and body language to be a good dude? right? And whether you really want to be in English or not, you need to act like you want to be in English. And the professor needs to know your name, right? And show up dressed the right way and do all those type of things. So the presentation of it and being a good dude, regardless whether that's class, whether that's study hall, or whether that's in the CAF, like that's the expectation here. And so, we had another freshman meeting this morning to make sure that our young guys do understand, all right, it's the first day. You got one shot at a first impression. Here's the expectation. You got rules and values of an organization that you're responsible for upholding. But that's a significant piece until being eligible doesn't matter. It still matters right now, and you've got to be eligible in order to play. So there's still a student-athlete component. I know we don't feel that way sometimes, but there is, and this is the start of it and making sure we're getting started on the right foot. So we brought them in because we're an AM team this morning and made sure we had a team meeting, got everybody scheduled together, and then kept the freshmen to make sure we start off on the right foot. But I think developing the right routine and habits that's the benefit of starting school prior to game week. All right, let's get this week to get our routines down and all those type of things. So then when we go in game week, we don't have a lot of distractions.
Speaking of freshmen, Jonathan Maldonado mentioned Landon, Carmelo Reed, Jaden Curtis. Obviously, that's his position group, but three guys that really have flashed to him and he's actually learned from too. What have you seen from those guys in just that freshman class? How have they adapted not only to the academic piece, but on the field, guys like Landon coming on and maybe contributing as soon as the opener?
Yeah, I think the benefit of that is getting them in the spring. I think they got that transition time in the spring and all that. I think all three guys from a system standpoint are so much comfortable, than they were in the spring, obviously with the reps from the summer and the fall camp. And then from a physicality standpoint, all three guys aren't the old school freshmen. I mean, they're different, body types and skill sets and all those. But Landon's definitely flashed like we talked about. I think Jaden, is the steal of that class. I really believe that, as far as his upside. I think his quick touch of the football, I think he gives us an element in pass rush, even like potentially this year once you start getting later into the season. So I'm really excited about those three guys. And I think the further that we go, I think some of them will have roles. The good thing about it is they're seeing guys do it the right way in front of them. And it's cool when those older guys start talking about those young guys, but they're setting the right example for them, and they're following. So Coach Jordan does a great job with that group. But those three guys will be ready sooner than later. I think Carmelo still has a little more development to do probably than the other two, kind of by position and not as big of a position in need. But Jaden gives you something different inside that we haven't had, especially at that age.
That's a little bit of what Pete Golding had to say. It's 24 minutes. Ole Miss's YouTube is where you can find that and watch that if you want to see the entire thing. On the offensive line front, when he says Tommy, he's talking about Tommy Kinsler, the Miami transfer. One thing I do like about Pete Golding is, you get honesty to some degree. Now, every coach embellishes parts of their team because why would you tell Louisville everything that you're doing at practice? But he's willing to say, for 35 snaps, man, he was awesome and got to get him in better shape still. It's apparently that is improving because a couple of weeks ago he made reference to that as well. We talked about it last week some. I do think tackle is still a position to keep an eye on, but they feel better about it now than they did 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, but we'll see. But that's who he's referencing is Tommy Kinsler, the Miami transfer, who sounds like he's ahead in the competition for right tackle. I know it's going to be cynical. And it was a good answer provided. When you got a quarterback making $6 million and every player on the roster is making at least a few $100,000, we don't need to ask about academics anymore. Let's stick to football. It was a good answer. I appreciate the answer.
Student athlete.
But, let's...
90% of them will go pro in something other than football.
Yeah. Except for right now because they're pros in football. They've already made professional. They made it. They made it.
See how it is at
You
Ole
got
Miss.
a good answer, but, it's hard to... if one player is going to start over the other because his grades are better. Well, no. As long as they are academically eligible, what they do on the football field is going to dictate who starts and who does not. Student athletes.
Did you put the answer about what Golding? Did you get the quote from Golding about the FBI in there? Did I miss that?
I can play it for you if you'd like, but
We'll do Lebby when we come back, and maybe in the last part of the show we can play. I wouldn't mind hearing that quote.
Absolutely, we will do that. But got to make sure we balance the scales. Get to Jeff Lebby.
We report.
You decide. We will be right back. You'll hear from Jeff Lebby. And truly, I'm not being flippant. Credit to Mississippi State. His audio is so much better this time.
We're in the stadium. We're in the media, the press conference room. So, yeah.
Do it there every time because you can actually hear his answers. And good stuff from Jeff Lebby. We'll hear that when we come back.
From the Seabrook.
You can be a part of Sports Talk Mississippi. 888-808-8637 on Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi back here with you on a Monday. Brian Hadad and Michael Borkey. Just a minute ago, we heard from Pete Golding. Let's go to Starkville. Mississippi State head coach Jeff Lebby. Some very handsome questions in this one, including the first one. We talked to him this past Saturday after his team's second scrimmage. Let's go to that now.
Coach, with this being the second scrimmage, 2 weeks away from the start of the game, is this more of a situational day for you, or you trying to make it more game-like?
There was both. Now, we did everything we did. We wanted it to be game-like today. So, again, just our sideline operation, our sideline communication, how we're going to do what we do between drives and having the ability to get our iPads out, go through the script. So we worked on all those things. And then, obviously, with the mock game next week, we'll be able to do it again before we kick it off for real. So a little bit of both. Had a good amount of live work today and then went into thud. Best thing is being off the grass and everybody healthy from today. So a ton of work to do, but fall really does. It breaks as we finish up meetings today, fall camp.
Steve, all right. What kind of excited you today and what maybe disappointed you about today's game?
And what excited me is there was really good back and forth. We're still ones-on-one, so a ton of good on good, and one offense goes out, finds a way to put a drive together. The first drive goes score. Defensively, able to get our cleats in the ground, play a little better those next two series, and then had some really good things happen both sides of the ball in the red zone. What I didn't like is how a couple things ended with coming out defensively and offensively with our twos, both units. Some penalties that we've got to clean up with those two groups, regardless of who's on the field. Obviously, the expectation is to be able to go execute, so didn't like that part of it, but getting a ton of back and forth.
Coach, we've talked a lot about the defensive backfield and the work you put in the offseason, getting better and deeper back there. How have those battles been going with those guys and the depth that you have to wide receiver? It
has been really, really competitive, like with Kelly and Jet, and then what both sides of the ball are getting has been really, really good. So Caleb got to continue to come on. He's done some really good things at corner. Jamrock being back healthy, got to continue to come on. Q, same thing. So, again, we've got to continue to create that depth. But, man, there has been a ton of competition as we've been on the grass, which has been really good to see.
Back row call.
Talked to Amari this week, and there was a lot of excitement about him coming in with his athleticism and turning full-time onto the defensive side. What have you seen from him these couple scrimmages?
Man, I've seen a guy get better. Like, he is so invested in the process and his day-to-day and who he is in the building, outside the building. Every decision that guy makes is putting him in a position just to be as good as he can possibly be. So he's gotten better and better. He's going to continue to do that as he's really settling into playing the position and understanding it. I love his physicality and his toughness. And a guy that will tell you right now he ain't good enough because he's hard on himself. But, man, he's done some really good things. I'm excited about Amari.
What's just the situation with Mario Nash not being on the team?
Yeah, Rio hated, but went ahead and stepped away from the game. And for him, a guy obviously that at the time we were really excited about, and he's went ahead and stepped away, and that was something that he did. So wish him the best of luck.
Right, Steve. Coach, you mentioned before you thought you had about 6 offensive linemen that were ready to play one in football, and you wanted to have 8 or 9. Where do you feel like you are in that process?
We're not quite to 8 or 9. I feel really good about 7 guys. we're getting closer and closer. That'll be a huge discussion for us as an offensive staff as we evaluate this scrimmage today, as we move forward tomorrow, truly start setting the 2 deep. I love that there's been great competition. But today's tape, how guys grade out and their physicality, things like that, will make a big part of the decision in where we go on Monday.
Left side, Carl. Outside of Anthony Evans, there's obviously a lot of competition in the wide receiver room. Have you seen anyone separate themselves through these scrimmages and practices, or what do you like from that room as well?
Yeah, I do like the depth. I think you think about Zion Raggins, what he's done through camp has been really good. Frisco's continued to get better. He's going to be a really good player. Marquise Grayson, both of those guys really good. Aiden's been a little banged up, that hoping to get back all the way healthy. So you think about those 6 guys being able to go play really clean, good football. That's exciting, with a couple other guys that got a chance to flash, like Camden. Zion Crumpton's done some really good things, along with Matt Mayfield. So those 9 guys are really the guys that can play on teams and be able to go do what we need them to do offensively.
Sam, what do you think just needs to happen, or what do you need to see in this next week of practice before you start really turning your attention to the UL?
Yeah, as we get ready for mock game, we need guys to continue to trust the process and be able to get better every single day. Our intent in the building has to be elite. There's got to be incredible urgency in how we do what we do, and I think our guys are built that way right now. So, it is. It's just about the day-to-day, making sure we're better Monday than we were today by how we do what we do for the next 48 hours. So our guys are bought into that, and that's what we'll need to continue to see.
I thought you said you wanted to see Camario continue to improve making plays from the pocket.
Yeah.
Seeing that these past couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's really strained to play from the pocket, which has been, again, really good. That's why I love spring ball for the quarterback position, especially when you've got an elite athlete. That's why I love fall camp, because the whistle's going to blow as soon as he escapes. And so being able to play from the pocket is exactly what he is trained to do at a really high level. He's gotten better and better. Once he goes live, that'll be the real test. But proud of him and how he's worked.
Back right, Elijah. Kind of building off of Camario's pocket presence, do you think the defensive line rush lane discipline has kind of improved over the offseason?
Yeah, I think we've got better pass rushers, so it's going to create more condensed pockets. I think we're going to have the ability to push the pocket a little more, so that immediately creates stress and pressure for the guy holding the ball.
West side, Robbie and Davey. You mentioned Ryan Crumpton. That's a guy you talk to coaches in the state of Alabama, and one of the better athletes in the state. Playing wide receiver full time and kind of learning it, and learning the technique and all that stuff. Do you see it kind of coming together for him at this portion of camp?
I do. He's still so young. He got here when he got here, obviously, which is a little later, but a guy that has just started playing the position full time. Man, I love his upside. He is incredibly competitive. Guy's got a chance to be a really, really good player, but proud of, how he's just gone through camp. He hadn't hit that so-called freshman wall at all. He's had great energy and been really, really effective for us, which has been really good to see.
All right, Hadad, what'd you hear?
Well, I had one more really handsome question in there. It got cut off.
Yeah, it did.
That's harsh.
Intentionally.
I talked about it on, I guess it's technically today's Thunder and Lightning podcast. We recorded it on Saturday after that press conference. I hear a confident coach. I hear a level of confidence that I haven't heard the past couple of years. I hear a coach who I really do think, it's August 24th and hope runs eternal, but I think he believes he's got a team that's going to be better this year. That based on what I heard from the scrimmage, that the defense was really good. Now, you got to take that with a grain of salt, right? Because and Lebby kind of describes it there. Yes, the defense had a great day on Saturday, from what I was told. They won the scrimmage, but the scrimmages are set up in a way where, as Lebby said, when Camario exits the pocket, the whistle blows. So the thing that makes Camario Taylor super dangerous isn't available in these scrimmages. So the defense kind of has an advantage built in there. But they're having success. They're having a lot of success. They feel good about it. That said, I've talked about it a couple times. I feel good about the fact that State seems to have, even a week ago, kind of settled on what that first-team offensive line is going to be. I like the amount of competition he's talking about at the wide receiver position. I don't think it's going to be like Mike Leach's situation where they play 8 or 9 or 10 receivers. There'll be 5 or 6 at most, but the fact that you've got 8 or 9 guys for 5 or 6 positions is great. That's what you want. And then there's Camario, who, seems to be doing the things that Levy wants to get done and showing the things that Levy wants him to show at this point. So, again, I'm going to watch this team play a game, maybe 2, before I dive all in with what I think this team is. But for sure,
definitely got to watch the second one.
Yeah, but for sure, the vibes coming out of training camp are higher than they were a season ago and certainly 2 seasons ago.
Good news out of camp.
I mean,
unlike what you're getting out of Texas right now, which is not good news.
Yeah, they had a rough week.
They've had a rough weekend. I wonder how. That's the thing about camp reporting. You wonder how real it is. Locker room unrest. How real is that really?
Yeah.
Arch had a really bad training camp. How real is that really?
Right.
I don't know.
I feel
it's
like
worth underlining, though. Like, hey, remember when?
Yeah, because normally this time of year, the news coming out is good from everybody. Even teams that are going to go 1-11 this year. Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing from our guys. So when you hear negative press at this point in the season, it's definitely one for something to keep an eye on.
So you wanted the FBI quote. I've got it for you. I'll play that for you when we come back.
All right. So when we come back, we've all heard that Lane Kiffin was bugging the Ole Miss office. Pete Golding gave a little clarity into the idea that the FBI was called by Ole Miss to perform a sweep. So we'll do that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi, starting week 0. College football is here. We'll be back in just a minute.
Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
All right, welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Walker Jones was on a podcast over the weekend and telling some Lane Kiffin stories. There's a lot of them out there. And one of them was that there's an anecdote about how the FBI swept the Manning Center after Lane Kiffin left to make sure that he didn't leave anything behind. Pete Golding was asked about that.
Let's hear it.
And provided some clarity.
There's a story over the weekend that Walker Jones told about having the FBI come in through the Manning Center and sweep the room for bugs after Lane left. Just was that?
I think any bowl game playoff system, obviously, you're going to up security. I'm not sure there was a hiring process of here we go with the FBI. I do think we probably have a current player whose dad just so happens to work for the FBI that lives in town, that from that standpoint, there was no measure to go, oh my gosh, here, come in from that standpoint. But no, obviously, anytime you get in that playoff system and you had guys from this building go to other places, you want to make sure it's secure for your players. Nothing from our standpoint, but the video access and everything else and all those things that you're doing regardless where you're at. I mean, that's no different when, in the semis and the quarters, regardless where you're at, for the hotels that you're staying in. Like, you've got to up the security. People are in and out, and you're sweeping trash cans. I mean, that's been done for the history of ball. So, no, there was no hiring process of, hey, let's get the FBI in here. Holy cow. Let's start looking around. No, it wasn't anything like that.
That's like the picture Golding like Hans Gruber in Die Hard. Like, you ask for miracles, Keith Carter, I give you the FBI. Or do I want to go? Do I want Lane Kiffin going overboard like Johnny Utah in Point Break? I am an FBI agent. What do I want from that? I don't know. I need it more. I really wish Golding had just laid into him and like, oh yeah, we found some interesting stuff. Because that's wide open. With Lane Kiffin, there's always interesting stuff to find.
Oh, and especially considering how everything went down with the obvious and clear well-documented attempts to sabotage the team and the program during the playoff run, yeah, it's kind of within bounds to make sure that everything was on the up and up, especially video sharing files and stuff like that. Yeah. You make sure that all of the access to that has been revoked and all that stuff. Bugs in the office is not the way to describe what happened, though.
No.
At least according to Pete Golding, anyway.
Well, that's a shame.
It would have been funnier if
it would have been funnier if Cash Patel had been down here with the guys providing a full security upgrade. I mean, Kiffin did make a comment at Media Days about watching Pete Golding through the Ring camera. So
that's so weird, by the way.
It is.
Like, even if you're joking.
Yeah.
Like, hey, dude, I'm watching you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're doing what?
A grown man was watching another grown man through a Ring camera.
Wonder if that makes the book.
We'll find out soon enough.
We will find out soon.
On shelves very soon.
Man.
So, week 0 is here.
Week 0 is here. Actual football's here.
So here's what we're going to do this week, in case just for a couple reminders. Don't forget, Wednesday is GOAT Day. We are going to debate the GOATs, the greatest to ever do it at Ole Miss, at State, at USM, in the NFL, in the NBA. We'll do it all. We will have Michael Borkey, maybe for the first time on the show, a legitimate LeBron versus Jordan debate. Not much of a debate, in my opinion, but nevertheless. And then I had an idea for Friday. Tell me what you think. I'm just going to pitch it to you right here on the air. Let's go through every conference. Who's the champion? Who's the surprise team? Who's the disappointing team? Let's put together a playoff bracket. Let's do it. Let's give the full preview of the season on Friday's Sports Talk Mississippi. Are you here for the whole show? You got to go do a game
Friday?
Yeah.
No, I will be there the whole show.
Oh, where are you this week?
On the road, Columbia.
Very nice. The house that Walter Payton built. And but we can do that. So we're going. So Friday is going to be a ultimate college football preview. Every power conference. We'll do the group of 6 while we're at it. Give you an idea for our playoff brackets. Maybe a potential Heisman winner, potential national champion. I think that'll be a lot of fun. We want you guys on the C Spire text line to join us. So it'll be a good time, and we can do that for you on Friday. So as I said, again on Wednesday is GOAT Day. Oh, there's Rhino. Normally I don't say anything, but when it's Chelsea 3, Fulham 2, something's got to be said. What do you got to say there? Huh? A little Craven Cottage.
It was a good match if you ignore the first minute.
31 seconds into the season, and it's 1-0. I was like, we're going to win the league. We'll see how it goes the rest of the way. Thanks so much for joining us. College football is back, and we're here for it. It's going to be a great week here on Sports Talk Mississippi. Talk to you again tomorrow. For Rhino, for Borkey, I'm Hadad. Later.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.